This is the AudioVisual Podcast. Take a journey with your host, Kyle Dean. Explore captivating stories, insights, and experiences from diverse professionals that ignite your own creative spark. Welcome to a world beyond audiovisual. Welcome to the AudioVisual Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the AudioVisual Podcast. Your host, Kyle Dean, here with you. And once again, we're having a great time here as we're rolling with these episodes now. And this is our first musician actually on the podcast. And I'm super excited, to really dive into a local musician here. And joining me is Chloe Marie. How are you doing, Chloe?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And I know the weather outside when we're recording this is not exactly the best. So thank you for making the trip here in the studio to really learn more about you and what you do as a musician.
Yes.
Are you ready for winter?
No. Every year I like it a little bit less, I feel like.
Well, when it actually snows in October, it just makes the winter go longer.
Oh, I know.
Way longer. Does that affect you, your scheduling wise, I guess, to start things off? Like, do you have more gigs? Do you have less gigs just because more indoor, or what's it look like with that scheduling wise?
Summer is always the busy season.
Okay.
And it always does slow down in the winter.
It does.
Especially like January, February is pretty slow.
And that's pretty much general for everybody. It's just like January, February. There's nothing going on after the holidays. So, well, Chloe, I really appreciate you coming out here to interview. You can kind of see the nerd studio that I've really put together here. And I really just wanted to really find out more about you because I've looked at a lot of the local musicians here. Chris Basden. I went to school with him, so I've been reaching out to him to get on the podcast. Also, there's Heather Raye was another one that I know my wife knows, so is another one I want to get on the podcast. And then I'm like, well, let's see what else is out here for the local area. And you are local, born and raised in the Minot area, right?
Born in Fargo, raised in Minot.
Okay, but still North Dakota native.
Yes,
and that's what I'm looking at. It's like, this is a North Dakota native, and it's so much fun to see how your story is starting from the beginning to where you're at now to what your goals are. But before we get into any of that, there's always a fun part of the podcast to get you to know you a little bit more. And also for our podcast listeners is the rapid fire questions. Now, I sent you these earlier. So are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I hope I'm ready.
You hope you're ready? Everybody says that. They're like, they're going to get stumped or something, but they're actually really easy. So here we go. First question, easy peasy. What is your favorite color?
Pink. Wearing it today.
Perfect. That's my daughter's favorite color. Everything has to be pink. Yeah. So nothing wrong with that. So pink. Love it. If you had to eat at least one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Okay, so I'm obsessed with Mexican food, and this is not an ad, but specifically from Me Mexico, their enchiladas are amazing. I go there every week. So.
You go there every week?
Yeah.
Are you going to play like a lunch hour or a supper hour?
That would be very fun, yeah.
So Me Mexico, if you're listening, listen to that. We'll have some music and entertainment. I do like Me Mexico. That is very good. And I remember, do you remember when they were in that little building?
Yeah, I do.
And I remember the tables were all together, and now it's just like so much better with their bigger space.
Oh, I know. It's such a great restaurant to go to.
It is. So I love that. All right. So Me Mexico for the rest of your life. Love it.
Yes.
What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Okay. So I'm not like the biggest movie or TV show watcher, but if I had to choose like a type of TV show, it'd be like anything reality TV with love and drama in it. I am typical basic girl when it comes to that.
So my wife has watched a few of those that were popped up on Netflix. They do their original series.
Yep.
And I'm like, what are you watching? But then sometimes she's like, I'm like, well, what's going on? She's like, well, do you want to watch it? I'm like, no.
It's addicting. It's addicting.
And I've heard reality TV Survivor's always been a big one for that one. There's one on the History Channel I want to watch is Alone. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I have.
So that one looks really interesting. So, but you're the reality TV with all the drama.
Yes. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Oh, man. What's your go-to karaoke song, or what's your favorite song? Or you could do both. It doesn't matter because you're a musician. Which one are you looking at?
Go-to karaoke song. I think I had two for this. Okay. Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania, of course.
That's a classic.
And 9 to 5 by Dolly.
Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So you got a little classic. Well, I should say Dolly Parton's classic country. When I grew up, Shania Twain, that was still like, she's touring right now again, isn't she?
She is,
Have you seen any of them in concert?
No, neither of them.
You have not seen either. Are they coming to North Dakota, or one of them is, I thought?
Shania either just came or is going to come.
Okay.
I think going to come.
So bucket list?
Yeah, it would be really fun.
It would really be fun.
Yeah.
Which one do you think, if you had to choose? I know that's
definitely
tough.
Dolly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, iconic,
Yep, but they're both pretty iconic.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite game? It could be a board game, a video game, anything like that.
I'm not the biggest games person either, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Cards Against Humanity.
That is a good one. With all the expansion packs?
Yeah.
Yes. What is your most used emoji?
It's always the laughing face. It never changes.
So is it the laughing face with the tears, or is it just the regular?
Yeah, with the tears.
With the tears.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which ones would you keep?
Okay, this is a good question.
Okay.
I would keep Instagram.
Okay.
I've been an avid Instagram person for years. Mm-hmm. I would keep my banking app. So First International banking app.
Shout out to them.
Also, my Ultimate Guitar app, where I get all of my like guitar chords and songs, and that's how I do all the gigs.
So that's your 3 right there.
I would keep them.
So I can understand the guitar one 110%. The banking one, there's still buildings that you can go. True. So that's one you don't need, hopefully. Yeah. But I think I understand the convenience now of having an app. And then Instagram, yes, because you're very big into Instagram, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that what your main platform that you usually do for a lot of this then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It normally has been, especially like since I started this at the beginning. It was the first one that I used.
That's so Instagram, the guitar one, and then the banking app.
Yeah. For convenience. I like checking it.
I don't think I would ever hear a banking app from anybody else. I don't think that's common, but now that you put it 2 and 2 together, it makes sense in this day and age. Yeah. So would you rather sleep in late or take a long nap at midday?
Sleep in late. I do not like taking naps.
You don't?
No.
You just, so once you're up, go.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm wasting my day. It's a bad idea, but that's how I feel.
So that's how my kids feel, just wasting my day, right? I'm wasting their day by putting them down for a nap. Then.
Yeah, wasting playtime.
But I guess they get grumpy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not saying you get grumpy. What would your superpower be, and why?
I think just be basic and invisible.
Invisible?
Being invisible, yeah.
That works?
Yeah.
And then, who is your hero?
So I have 2 different versions of this. Okay. So my hero in like real life, personal life would be my older sister. Oh. And then as a famous person, it'd be Taylor Swift.
Taylor T. Swift.
Yes.
Are you a Travis Kelce fan now too?
Kinda, like not really, but just because.
So I have to dive into this a little more now. Not the Travis Kelce side, but let's start with Taylor Swift. Why would you want to meet her? She's your hero. Is it just because of her journey that she had, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think like thinking of very influential musicians and artists, she's definitely at the top, especially right now. Like I just went and saw her concert in theaters.
Oh, yep.
Because I didn't get to go in real life. Mm-hmm. And it just is crazy how like she has such an influence on basically the whole world at this point. Because there was like little girls dancing in the front row. Like everyone was trading friendship bracelets. Like it is a literal brand, like as a whole.
Have you been to a Taylor Swift concert recently, or any time, I should say? Not recently, I guess.
Yeah, not recently, but I went to her Red tour. I think it was in 2012.
Okay, so it's been a while, and the ticket prices were probably way different than what they are now. And I mean, looking at those ticket prices, because I know like 2 people that went to the Minneapolis show, and it was astronomical how much the tickets were. But the theater experience, what do you think of that? Since you did see the movie, then what'd you think?
I mean, it was unlike anything I've ever seen, because I've never like gone to a concert in theaters where people were actually like dancing in the theater. So that was really cool to see. And everyone was just genuinely having a good time. Everyone was dressed up like fully in costumes.
Really?
And yeah.
Here in Mina.
Yeah.
That is awesome to hear.
I know. I was so glad, because I didn't know if like people would do that here, but most people were dressed up. So
that is awesome to hear, because usually here when you're like the latest superhero movie comes out, I don't think there's people that dress up. Maybe there is, but that's awesome to hear that here locally people are showing what her influence is worldwide, like you said.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Awesome to hear that. And maybe you might meet her one of these days, right?
That would be awesome. I would love to.
She seems like a really nice, down-to-earth person.
She does. Yeah, I like that. Like, above all, she has kept like the classiness of her. That's just really what I like. Yeah.
And she went from country to pop more than anything. Because I remember when Love Story came out with her and all that. And then, she dominated country for a while. And then that was a big change when she went to pop. And she transitioned very well, you would have to say. So awesome. And then your sister, why would you say that? I'm curious.
So both of my siblings are a lot older than me. And growing up, I always like looked up to her because, she's your older sister. You want to be like her. And she was in music and theater and even in a Christian rock band for a little time there. So I would go and watch all the concerts and sing in the crowd and stuff. So I think she's just been really influential on the music side, but also on the community building side. She's like super big on that.
Really?
And that's kind of like where I've seen the importance in being like an entrepreneur and being in business and networking and stuff like that.
That's awesome to hear. Well, a shout out to your sister. What's her name?
Chelsea Gleit.
Chelsea. Well, shout out to Chelsea. Hear from your sister. Definitely influenced Chloe here. And I guess, did you pick on her a lot too, though, when you were little?
Honestly, like me and my siblings never fought. Like,
bull.
No, I'm not kidding. Because like our dynamic was, because I was so much younger.
Okay.
That our dynamic was like, they were always taking care of me. So like I never fought with them. Well, it's weird. I know.
No, it's not, because my 2 kids, they're 3 years apart almost.
Yeah.
And I swear they're at each other's throats every single weekend. If it's just like, go play. No, let's just pick on each other. No, that's not playing.
Let's just beat each other up real quick.
Literally. I swear that's what it is. Well, a shout out there to your siblings, no doubt about that. And it really took an influence of your music, of what you're doing now. So that transitions here to kind of what we're going to learn about you more. And I know you mentioned you've done radio interviews before, you've done podcast interviews before. Let's just start at the beginning here. How did you first become interested in music, and what led you to pursue this, not just hobby, but a career in the future for this? So what started this?
So I've always liked music. I grew up, I started writing songs when I was 8. Every day after school, I had this karaoke machine in my room, and I'd go sing like 2000's best hits of country on this karaoke machine. And I would always dress up like my favorite Disney characters and act like I was a superstar. So it was just like all those things on top of each other really made me interested in music. And then, when I was in 5th grade, I started guitar lessons and voice lessons. And then in 3rd grade, I started piano. And then I kind of was off and on piano and guitar. And my favorite thing's always been singing. So that's like always been the top of my list. And in high school, I kind of remember like all of my friends were getting jobs, and I really wanted a job. Like that was really important to me because I liked the idea of working and whatever, but I was also a cheerleader in school full time, did music, like a lot going on. So my parents, like initially, I don't know why they did this, but like they were like, you can make money doing music. And I was like, okay, well, I'll figure it out. So my first job was getting paid to practice my songs. Yeah. And like, it was like minimum wage, like not a lot of money, but that's how they would get me to practice because I was really bad at practicing. And, so that actually worked. And I think at that same exact time, I had started an Instagram page that was for singing, and that was really big at that time. Mm-hmm. And I had posted a few videos, and like halfway through that year, I think I got contacted by the Women's Business Summit in Bismarck. Okay. And they were like, hey, can you come and perform like during our whole summit, like in the morning and then I think over lunchtime or something. Yeah. And at that time I did it with my sister. So me and my sister went and we did it together. And I remember like, there was jumbotrons, there was like 100 people, there was soundmen, and like we forgot a guitar chord. Like I didn't even know what it was. Like didn't know what it was called, whatever. And I think the sound guy was like, oh, okay, well, we'll just find one. So that was where like the gigging part happened. After that, it just kind of kept coming and didn't really go away. It was very slow at first, obviously, and you like build yourself up. You do things for free. You just go meet with other people. You play with other people. And at that time, I was, I think 15, 16, starting to do all that. And then, yeah, from there, I actually did have a job at the mall for like a year, and then that wasn't working out. Mm-hmm. Or it was fine, but then I just ended up quitting because COVID happened, and then I did music for my job after that. And I'm also a college student right now. Yeah. So I do both at the same time, and it's been literally the best job ever.
That's awesome. And we're going to dive into a little bit more of your balancing act that you have. But karaoke, 2,000 country hits, is that where Shania comes in then?
Not really.
No.
I do remember like, I'm pretty sure like the Dixie Chicks were on there or something.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But like the songs, I couldn't listen to them before I heard them in the karaoke machine. So I didn't know how they went. Really? I was just singing along. Yeah. Like to what I thought it would be.
That's kind of mind blowing because you think of a Dixie Chick song and you're like, it once you hear it on the radio. Yeah. But you have not heard one at that time. No. So you're... Wow.
I was like 8. Actually, the biggest one that I always would do was Good Directions by Billy Currington.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And you'd never heard it before?
No.
Wow.
I would just sing it to the recording of how I thought it should go.
You got the deep voice too, right? Oh, yeah. With Billy Currington?
I'm sure. At 8 years old, I was really...
Wow. So I have to ask, did your parents or mom, dad, did they ever keep any recordings of this, like the show, and embarrass you later on in life then?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure.
Even now, they take videos of stuff that I do. So, yeah.
Do you watch it back?
Some of them I do.
Okay.
Some of them I don't. There was like one time where I was practicing for some sort of like music competition. Okay. And I had just had it with the practicing, and I'm pretty sure I started crying in the video, and they're like, yeah, we'll delete that one. I'm like, yeah, that's good. We don't need that one.
I think that just shows how stressful this hobby to career can be on that. But that's really interesting that how it all started to what you're doing now. You mentioned that school and being an artist. Could you share some insights on how you balance your education with your musical aspirations, and what challenges are you facing along the way? And I guess what's your degree in first to start that question out?
Yeah, so I'm doing it all online through NDSU, business administration with a minor in entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And I originally went for vocal music education and ended up switching after my first year because it just wasn't really the path I wanted to take. Being an educator was not in my heart as much as like the business side of music was. So actually that was the best change for me to do. Balancing it with school and music has been a challenge. I, up until this point, have been a full-time student, and I also have done like summer classes to try and lessen my schedule so I can balance the two at the same time.
During the busiest musical gig season.
Yeah.
You're taking summer classes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a lot.
That seems like a lot, like the less in your time, but then it seems it's even more stress then. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, me as a musician, like I know that you don't have to have a college degree to pursue that, but it is important to me, and it's I would like to have a degree going forward, so I see the value in it for myself.
Yeah, it's a good backup plan, no doubt about that. You know, that's probably the worst word to say when you have a goal as a musician, but at the same time, you can take that experience that you learned in college with all those skills they're teaching you. Definitely, like you said, entrepreneurship, that could be huge for what you need for your musical career to really bloom, right?
Yep, yeah, for sure.
So it was business administration, or was that it?
Yeah.
So music went from music first as an educator to the business side. And that brings me to my next question. You know, music, not just an art. Definitely starts out like that, but when you're pursuing a career, becomes a business. How do you approach the business side of this music career that you're starting? And is there any advice for people that want to do the same thing as you? What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely like took some learning. I feel like for me, I mean, I started when I was in high school. I knew nothing. My parents knew nothing. Like my parents have been my biggest support system in this whole journey.
Awesome.
So we kind of learn all these things together. And from like 15-year-old me to like 22-year-old me, I've done the research. I look at music business things constantly. I'm constantly trying to insert myself into situations that could help me along the way, whatever. So it's really important to keep growing in your craft, keep practicing, keep networking with other people. That's honestly the best way to like get your foot in the door with a lot of things. Sometimes I play one show and I get like 5 different inquiries from that one show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So and that has happened this past year with me going into like a new market. That's happened from just playing the one show. And it's really cool to see how that can happen. But like if you're starting out trying to do music this way, it will be slow at first. And you just have to be okay with that. And that like you're not going to be huge right away. It's like a business. You got to grow it. And I still like struggle with that too, being from like North Dakota, and you know.
And that's the thing. It's like, oh, you're from North Dakota, you know. That seems to be, people thinks it's a hindrance. But if you look at a lot of the statistical research based on North Dakotan work ethic and what we do up here to really succeed, it just needs a little more research. And I think that's a benefit. But the perception of North Dakota has always been, where?
I know.
Canada?
Who's there?
Yeah. Do you guys have horse and buggy yet? Or what? Yeah, I completely understand. It's just like North Dakota, but I'm proud to be from North Dakota. Yeah, I'm assuming you are too. I'm glad I was born and raised here. And I mean, it's a different aspect, but I think there's more opportunities at the same time when you're in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So you're born and raised in North Dakota. You've been traveling a lot of North Dakota gigs. We talked a little bit here off the mic a little bit where you're going to local casinos, local events, going to restaurants. What's the new market that you mentioned then? So how did that get started, and where are you expanding to?
So I recently got engaged, and
congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. So with that comes moving, and my fiance lives in Fargo. So, and I obviously have family in Fargo. I was born in Fargo. So I've been branching out into the Fargo area for a couple of years now, but like most of it has been in this past year.
What are you looking at for more expanding then for your career?
I want to go to all 50 states. That would be awesome.
Love it.
In the past 2 years, I think I've expanded to like 5 states or 6. I got to play in Nashville for the first time. I got to play in Montana in August for the first time. Minnesota a couple times lately. So
So when I think of Nashville, and I'm assuming you might know the Tiger Lily Gold. I'm assuming you know those two, but Nashville, that is like you always hear people, musicians, specific country musicians. I'm moving to Nashville. I'm moving to Nashville, or like actors. I'm moving to Hollywood. Moving to Hollywood. Yeah. What was your experience when you went down to Nashville then as a musician, aspiring musician from North Dakota?
So I've been there 3 times now. The first time I actually went and did like a second round of auditioning for The Voice.
Congrats.
Thank you. That was back in 2019. Nothing came of it, but it was a fun experience.
That experiences, it's all matters there. So yeah, continue. Yeah.
And then the other time I was doing some songwriting. The last time I was doing some producing of new songs that I'm really excited about. So I don't know. I think it's an amazing place. Like, there are so many people you can meet, so many connections that will get you farther in your career. I'm not going to like discount the fact that I think it's hard down there to follow your dreams because, I mean, there's so many people doing it.
Correct.
So that's a little bit of the advantage of being from like somewhere like North Dakota. Like, there's probably like 20 of us in North Dakota.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably know more than me for numbers.
Yeah. So there's less that way.
Yep.
But it really is like you feel like there's possibilities and opportunities there that you couldn't get somewhere else.
And I 100% agree on that. And I would love to visit Nashville. I've heard it's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
When you go down there, big tourist destination with the Grand Ole Opry and stuff. Did you go to that?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah. Awesome. What a side note here on that. I've always wanted to meet Bobby Bones. Because he's down in Nashville.
Yeah.
And he always interviews like new and aspiring artists. And I think it would be great to just meet the guy, you know, because he seems very down to earth and he understands that system of getting into music.
Yeah.
It's tough. So, yes. Well, that's cool. So if you meet Bobby Bones, let me know.
I'll let you know. I'll like send you a selfie.
Well, no, you have to let me talk to him.
Oh,
no.
FaceTime.
All right, selfie will do. All right. So, continuing on that. So you mentioned that you're focusing on, newer markets, expanding, Fargo being one of them. Getting engaged once again. Who's the lucky dude?
His name is Nathan, and we've dated since high school. So.
My good high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, are you hearing this?
Write a song about it.
Yeah, write a song about it. So has he been a awesome support, I'm assuming, from the beginning almost?
Yeah, he actually like when we first started talking, I think I was just starting like that Instagram page.
Wow.
Of singing. And so he's really seen like every stage of where I've gone in this journey.
And that's awesome at the same time to see you grow as a musician, but then as you guys grow together too in this career and whatever he does as a career wise too. I'm assuming he's going to college too or anything?
He's graduated and now he's an engineer in Fargo.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him too. Wow. You don't want me engineering and designing anything for that. So that's awesome that your support system from your sister to your siblings to mom and dad to now your fiance, it's just so awesome that your support to get where you're at now. Now, doesn't mean you haven't faced any challenges or obstacles. Is there any specific challenge that you encountered and you found a way to overcome it? And what did you learn from any of those experiences? Is there any specific challenge?
I think there's a lot of challenges.
Okay.
I can't really think of like one overarching challenge, but one thing is like you have to wear a lot of hats, and especially in this day and age, like you have to do social media, like you have to play gigs, you have to go meet people, you have to collaborate with other people. So there are a lot of different parts to being an artist specifically right now. You have to be very creative as well to make yourself stand out and create that brand for yourself. So
social media, just kind of backtracking on that has become very important, you would say. Because I remember growing up, MySpace, I'm aging myself right now, that was a music website.
Was it? Yeah.
That's where you found artists. It was always MySpace. And then now it's kind of a little bit everywhere. But I mean, I reached out on Instagram to interview you. So do you get a lot of bookings that way with your social media platforms, or is it still, classic email, phone call, something like that?
It's kind of all over the board. I'd say most of them come through Facebook or Instagram.
Really? And
then probably next to that it would be email / my website.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That social media. What do you have for aspiring artists or maybe new artists? What do you say about social media? Just be consistent or just keep putting out content? What do you say as a musician?
Keep putting out content. Okay. I think a lot of times I'm super guilty of this too. Like you overthink and you're like, oh man, this video isn't quite right, or like maybe like my outfit looks different. I don't know. But it's important to just like keep putting your talent or whatever you want to be known for out there, because not every video is going to get a lot of likes. Not every video is going to get you a job. Like you just have to keep doing it.
How much time do you spend on like work social media then, would you say, to put videos together? Because I've seen some of them. What is the one? Is there ones that are like, "Hey Chloe" or something like that? What are? Okay, can you describe what those videos are to kind of our listeners? Just because I've seen them and I think they're creative. It's like, "Hey Chloe," and I'm like, "What is going on?" So,
you're like, "What?
This is awesome," but what is it? So,
well, that's good.
Yes.
It's to kind of like show my personality in a video, show that I am a country artist and that I have a funny kind of side to me.
They're hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
I love them.
I try.
I try. But when I first saw it, I'm like, "Hey Chloe," and then you just like pop out from behind a tree or something. I'm like, what in the world's going on? But it's awesome. And then you do a lot of covers on Instagram too. And that's just amazing to really show your range of what artists you can sing or what you're aspiring to write, right?
Yep.
Okay. So would you want to go into a little bit of the writing aspect? Because how long have you been doing that, and like song wise, and what's kind of your goal on that then? Like 1 or 2 songs first or a complete album? What are you looking at?
Songwriting is a very big part of like why I wanted to go into music for me. I started when I was 8 and I wrote really crappy songs in my notebook, and my very first song was called My Cowboy Hat and Boots. So
number one hit, guys. I love it.
We've come a long way. And originally when I was writing music in high school, I was a pop artist and I wanted to be a pop singer, and that was it. I didn't want to do country. But I recently, within the last few years, have switched country because it's just who I am. Like the values are me, like the sound of the music, the storytelling. That's how I write anyway. It's a very big part of who I am. And I like to write honest things. I just like to relate to people through music. And I think that's why it's so important to me.
Love it. That is an awesome answer. And by the way, your first song title, Western, there's a lot of songs about boots. Just saying that.
Oh, yeah.
So, number one hit, I'm telling you. Have you looked back at some of your writings way back then and try to edit them a little bit and try to make it a little bit more what you want, I guess?
Yeah. We were going through old stuff yesterday in our house, and I found a few that I'd written that I wanted to put on my first album when I was like 10. There was one specifically called CITY, and I loved that song. I was like, yes, this is the best one I've ever written. And looking back at it yesterday, I'm like, this is so bad. This is so bad.
So the first thing that I think of is Big and Rich. Welcome to the Party in the City. What's the city song? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Big and Rich song? Like in our city.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not a singer, guys. So you know what? I forget what the song is, but I remember Big and Rich, and that was like one of their big songs and all that.
Is it like Save a Horse?
There it is. Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Yeah. Yes. See, she knows more than me for that. But that's how I remember. It's just like CITY. I'm like, city.
Yep. City. I thought it was so cool.
You never know.
No.
You never know, because each ears have a different listening aspect of what they like or what they don't like. So how many songs, originals, do you have written right now, would you say, that are ready to go, album ready, anything where you're getting to that goal?
Ooh. I say this thing all the time where I have a lot of half songs.
That's fine.
But I've been writing a lot of like full songs lately.
Okay.
I'd say like completely ready, maybe like 20, but
that's a double album now.
But like, you know how the music business goes, you can't release them all at once.
Yes.
Like all that stuff. So.
I don't know how it goes, but I've heard that where you release, what's it called? Like an EP where you release like one or two of them or three of them.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where it is. And then you have a full album.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how many are on an album these days. It seems it ranges from 6 to 26 some days.
It does. It's kind of crazy.
It is. So looking at, you talked a little bit about Taylor Swift. Any other current artists that you really kind of are looking at that are, aspiring to you, where not like your career path where you went from, starting out small, which everybody did, but is there anybody else that you're looking at too that really has an influence on you?
Yeah, I'm really into obviously female country specifically.
Yeah.
My top two are usually always Kelsey Ballerini and Carly Pearce right now.
Okay.
And then one that I've like recently really started to like, she's a little bit smaller, but her name is Lauren Watkins. And I really like her vibe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
really
Spotify, we can search really quick and do Lauren Watkins. It'll pop up right away.
Yeah.
Love it. And do you have like Spotify and stuff that you've really expanded into?
So I have all my old music on Spotify and iTunes.
Yes. There's so many now.
Yeah.
It gets confusing. Do you plan on expanding that a little bit more here as we get closer to what your goals are then?
Yep. Yeah. I'm kind of going through a shift of who I am as an artist. So once I kind of get that solidified, then there's going to be new music out.
Nice. Yeah. Love it. So stay tuned for new music, no doubt about that. I only have two more questions here before we really dive into. You're going to play one or two songs here, which I am excited. First time in the studio to see how well the acoustics work in here.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they work well, guys.
Yes.
I guess, what is your goal? We've been talking about your goal now, kind of where you started to where you want to be. What are you looking at? Let's say year-wise. Let's say from a year from now to... Let's go 10 years. What do you see from a year now or 10 years from now?
So like when I started this, I didn't know what it would amount to. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the last, I think I've been doing this 7 years, maybe. It's really grown a lot, and that's even happening locally. So in the next 10 years, I would preferably like to be on tour and, traveling the world, being an artist full time. And
you have the drive, you have the grit, so you can do it, and you have the support.
Yeah.
So it seems like you got it, and it might be way before 10 years, and that would be awesome for everybody that's involved.
Yeah.
And you have awesome bandmates too, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you follow with the same band people then and all that, or is it kind of solo more, or is it just you have people that you hire out then?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that I've been doing stuff with since I was like 15.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's really cool to see because like we weren't close until we started doing that, and now like I feel like we've grown so much together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, I have like the core that's been there since I started, and then I have a couple new ones that have come and gone. So yeah. Well,
shout out to them that that for everybody that's helping you out to get where you want to be. So my last question here is, do you have anything else to add that you would like your listeners to know or anything like that?
Ooh, this is always a hard question. I don't know like what to say.
It is probably the most basic broadcast question at the end, because it's like, I know we're missing something, but what is it?
The best way that you can support local artists is following us on social media, listening to our music, coming to our shows is really important. So if you are interested in any of that, make sure you do that. Chloe Marie Music.
Okay. So website, can you list some of the social media, your website, just for all of our listeners too? And I'll link them all down in the podcast description too. So
okay. Website chloemariumusic.com. Instagram and TikTok are chloe.mariemusic. Facebook, Chloe Marie Music. Same with YouTube. So
love it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So once again, that is Chloe Marie. It has been awesome to really get to know you a little bit more, to see where you've grown, and you've had awesome advice for almost everybody that you're really showing, not just the artist aspect, but for anything that you do. You notice that if you have a goal for anything you do, you can succeed where you want to be. So awesome, very awesome. And it's so good to hear, you knew what you wanted to do in high school all the way to now. So, and before, we let everybody go or anything like that, we're going to have some songs, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. This song is called Blame It On Where I Grew Up, and it's based on North Dakota, growing up in North Dakota. Here we go. Mama raised me up on the good book, and Daddy taught me how to throw a left hook. I'm the wildflower side of a family tree. I'm a hand in the air on a Sunday, and I'm a sinner in traffic on Monday. A little less stress and a lot more boots and jeans. Blame it on the dirt road, gravel down in my soul. Country in the speakers of my radio. Freedom of a wide open Midwest sky where I grew up, where I grew up. Blame it on a summer night, harvest moon. If I start falling for a boy like you, stealing my heart neath the stars above. Blame it on where I grew up, hey. And I'm a sucker for some back porch picking. Give me some sweet tea, grandma's chicken. A day on the lake or a bonfire Friday night, yeah. Blame it on my homegrown history. If I let a country boy hold the door for me, find myself riding in a shotgun seat, 2 lane to the county line. Blame it on the dirt road, gravel down in my soul. Country in the speakers of my radio. Freedom of a wide open Midwest sky where I grew up, where I grew up. Blame it on a summer night, harvest moon. If I start falling for a boy like you, stealing my heart neath the stars above. Blame it on where I grew up. If I wanna put my roots down on 2 acres at the edge of town, 4 kids, 2 dogs all running around, ain't no doubt. Blame it on the dirt road, gravel down in my soul. Country in the speakers of my radio. Freedom of a wide open Midwest sky where I grew up, where I grew up. Blame it on a summer night, harvest moon. If I start falling for a boy like you, stealing my heart neath the stars above. Blame it on where I grew up. Blame it on where I grew up. Blame it on where I grew up.
Good job.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you.
So how old is that song when was it written and stuff?
I think it was written last summer.
Last summer?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was awesome. Wow.
Thank you.
I'm excited here now to really dive in a little bit more with your music. And can you, I guess this is a question, can we buy your music? Is there a way, or is it just streaming where more streams the better then for you?
Yeah, when I release new music, you can buy it through like like iTunes.
Okay.
And I'm sure I'll come out with physical copies, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, till then, just keep watching the social medias. Yes.
I love it. And then the North Dakota aspect was just mind-blowing. Like, and we talked about it, and here you're literally have a song about it on your background, your history. Yeah. So awesome to hear, and I loved it. So
thank you. Thank you.
And if you want to keep going here, do you have another song that you would like to play for our listeners here today?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn my mic down so you can do what you need to do, okay?
Okay. All right, this next one is called Growing Up Girl, and it's for all my ladies out there. I'm pretty different than me at 15, but I still got the same dream, same boy next to me. Growing up ain't easy, I've learned a lot along the way. Girl in the front row, listen up to what I have to say. It's learning how to fly those wings. It's trying on all kinds of things like new clothes, new towns, new hairdo. What's you gonna choose? It's planning just to call it off. You care too much or not at all. Life sure takes you for a whirl when you're growing up, girl. My mom's the best at giving me advice. 1/4 sassy, 3/4 Midwest nice. There's always more you're gonna learn along the way. Girl in the back row, listen up to what's on your plate. It's learning how to fly those wings. It's trying on all kinds of things like new clothes, new towns, new hairdo. What's you gonna choose? It's planning just to call it off. You care too much or not at all. Life sure takes you for a whirl when you're growing up, girl. Whether you're 18, 25, 32, 58, take your time and give yourself grace. It's okay to make mistakes, and no one's perfect anyway. All you girls, listen up and show 'em you're brave. 'Cause I'm still far from figured out, but I can say without a doubt, it's learning how to fly those wings. It's trying on all kinds of things like new clothes, new towns, new hairdo. It's all up to you. It's planning just to call it off. You care too much or not at all. Life sure takes you for a whirl when you're growing up, girl. When you're growing up, girl. Ooh, whether you're 18, 25, 32, 58, we're growing up, girl. Thank you.
Is it weird doing an audience of one sometimes?
It is. Kind of. You just gotta get in the zone. You know,
you're in the zone. I don't know what you're talking about, but that was awesome, and it's probably totally different from practicing to somebody like me, and then to a full crowd. So, and then different energy, no doubt about that, and it's got to be fun to get the crowd involved then.
Yeah, it's so fun, especially when they're like willing to participate and like already wanting to, you know, that makes it better.
And then once they get rolling, you know, with, you know, some of your originals, but then you probably sprinkle in some of the covers too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then it's just like, yeah, let's jam. I love it.
Yes.
So once again, that was Chloe Marie. I'm a local musician here in the state of North Dakota. Definitely keep an eye out for her here throughout any of the events throughout winter or also throughout the upcoming summer too. Chloe, it has been such an honor. You're our first musician here in the Nerd Studio, I like to call it. So it was awesome for you to perform. It was great to learn your story, and I definitely wish you the best of luck. And I'm hoping here in about 5 years, not even, I'll be talking to a manager to get in order to interview you, not no Instagram like, hey, do you want to do an interview? Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what your future has, and of course your support system. Thank you guys to everybody that supports her for this. That is awesome. To family members, to your fans now. It means a lot. So other than that, thank you very much, Chloe.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.